Hello, my name is Ellie Dice. I'm a graduate teaching assistant at Emporia State University's Teachers College. I'm also a former middle school social studies teacher, and I'm currently pursuing my master's in educational administration. Today I'd like to talk about an online tool called Checkology. It is a website that you can access by pulling up any internet browser, simply typing in checkology.org. The full website name is checkology.org. It is currently not an app. Just need a web browser to pull it up and Wi-Fi connection. It is free to educators, so you simply register. For time's sake, I have already registered, so I'll log in here in just a second. Just a quick overview of what Checkology is. I think it's a website that you can use in middle school and high school classes, possibly those intermediate elementary grades of 4th and 5th grade, but I imagine the upper grade levels would get the most out of this. But it's got some resources on here that teachers can implement in the classroom to help students identify reliable news sources, and also those tools to help them identify whether it's a factual news story or some of that misinformation. You will see that there are dozens of interactive lessons. You'll be able to create individual student accounts. You can pull in some co-teachers into your class, create a discussion wall. There's a word wall. So we will quickly log in here. Once you log in, your dashboard will show up. I've got a couple classes already created just as an example. So the dashboard is your overview. If I click on the Content tab, this is what you will see when you create classes as well. You'll be able to pull in the Checkology content, which has lessons, challenges, and exercises to it. Each lesson walks it, that's the learning aspect of it. And then the challenges are those checks for understanding. Your Check Center is a great tool that if you're just wanting to do a quick check to see the credibility of a piece of content or an article that you've pulled up, and something that students can access as well. A real-world application that you might want to pull into the classroom, or this could be an extended student project that they can connect with a journalist online, or even invite them into the school for a presentation or discussion on First Amendment rights, fake news, and identifying how to be credible journalist. So it makes that real-world application. The resources is just quick links again to some of the guides, posters that you can print off in your classroom to help students identify bias, journalism, misinformation that they're going to encounter on the internet. Under the More tab is your quick links to your discussion boards, your word wall. You can see discussion boards that I've created for some of my other classes here, just as an example. I have never used this in the classroom, but excited to try it out. You have where you can add a class. And I'll just type in a class name here. We'll do it for practice. Select your student type, what level they are, what grade level, and then of course the content area. Course lock is a setting that it will be designed that students have to follow a certain sequence before they can move on to a next topic. If it's off, they may jump around. The advanced settings is where you can turn on those pre and post assessments, your discussion walls, even turn on a leaderboard, or add your co-teachers. Once I create my class, we've got a link here that you can copy, post it out there as a big Google Classroom user. It incorporates there, or you can manually add your students. And you assign the class a course. And so in this case, it knows it's an introductory lesson, so it's suggesting that we do Checkology 101. I can customize it if I don't want to use all of the things that it's suggesting from that list. I can pull up the preset list and add or take away from that list. And again, in that content library, it's going to include those lessons, then those exercises, so after each lesson, those checks for understanding, and it's asynchronous learning. The students can go at their own pace as well. From a classroom standpoint, let's kind of look at the Bloom's taxonomy. This website definitely is going to hit on the evaluate and analyze levels. Students are going to be able to compare and contrast those news articles. They'll be able to argue and defend whether it's a credible source or not. They'll build on those skills. When we look at the SMAR model, I would say that it falls into that modification, maybe even that redefinition. We're taking a basic news article and expanding on that, pulling in other resources that students will be able to do rather than just setting and reading. Again, some of the benefits in the classroom are to engage students in critical thinking, spark discussion around news literacy, identify misinformation, credible sources, and those interactive lessons in the asynchronous learning. I hope that you'll take the time to check out the website, checkology.org.